Hey everybody, this is Pandora, and you're watching Desperately Seeking Slender. Welcome. So I had a whole show planned this week on the emotional roller coaster of weight loss and your weight loss journey and how emotional that it is. And I totally planned on talking about all of that. And then today I'm getting ready to shoot, and I get I think it was Facebook, that I got the message on from Celebrate Vitamins telling me that today is World Mental Health Day and is all about raising public awareness about mental health issues. And mental health issues are kind of close to home for me, so I decided that we would talk about this a little bit today instead. And I think that it really plays into my original topic, which was going to be the emotional roller coaster of weight loss. So pretty much my opinion on the whole emotional journey of weight loss surgery in general is that I find it very interesting because when you're doing like your pre-op stuff, you have to go to a therapist and you have to go through like all of their hoops and jump through, all their hoops and go through all the tape, red tape, is it red tape? Yeah, I think so, to get your surgery done. And for me, that included having to see a therapist who had to make sure that I was a good candidate for weight loss surgery as far as from a mental health standpoint. And it was actually really interesting because when I saw the therapist, she told me, she's like, you're the type of person who's going to be pretty successful, but you're going to push the limits. You'll probably drink soda again. You'll probably do this again. You'll probably do that again. And you'll probably get sick and you won't like it. And that'll be great. But you're the type of person that's going to try. And you know what? She's totally right. I tried to drink soda. I burped up foam for 25 minutes and I got over that real quick. I'm constantly trying little bites of this or little bites of that to see what my diva pouch will let me eat and everything. But at the end of the day, I really believe in moderation. So, I might take a bite of something to give it a try, but I'm not going to eat the whole thing or 2 servings of it like I used to. But I saw the therapist, and it kind of blows my mind because they made sure that I was a good candidate for weight loss surgery and that they thought I would be successful and that I would do well from a mental health standpoint. But really, I think that when you really should be seeing a therapist or a counselor or talking to someone is during the journey. My weight loss journey, my personal weight loss journey, has been the most emotional 2 years of my entire life. And I don't talk about it a lot, just because, some of you may understand this, but society changes so much, right? My parents came from a time when you didn't talk about your problems, you didn't see a counselor unless you were crazy, and you really did not look for help, or share stories about how horrible your childhood was or what kind of abuse that you had went through or anything like that. We didn't talk about those things. Now, my generation, we talk about them all the time. Now, it's good and everything because we're talking about things and we're learning and we're growing and we're encouraging people to see therapists and to work on themselves. But at the same time, if you are the type of person like me that comes from an abusive childhood, or you've had a dysfunctional family or anything like that, a lot of times you start to feel like if you tell your story, you're kind of in a pissing contest with who had the worst childhood or whose life would make the best ABC after school special. And I never want that to be me. So I try really hard not to focus on the negative too much. However, since this is Mental Health Awareness Day, I kind of want to talk a little bit about some of the mental health issues that I've been through, just because I really think that one of the things that we don't realize and that they don't tell us going into a weight loss journey like this is that at the end of the day, there is an underlying reason that we are overweight. There is something that has made us turn to food. There is something that we find in food that we're healing in ourselves, I think. Food was definitely a coping mechanism for me. And when we give up our relationship with food and we start a weight loss journey and we start taking off the weight, a lot of times there's a lot more issues than we ever even realized. So for me personally, when it happened so fast after my surgery, and that may be because I had lost quite a bit of weight pre-surgery, I was one of those people that was so overweight that I was an operating risk on the table. So when I started, I weighed 420 pounds, and you would think that I would have these numbers down, right? Like, you would think that I would know them, but I don't. I know what I weighed. What I'm trying to figure out is what my starting BMI was. But so when I started, I weighed 420 pounds. That gave me a BMI of 69.9, almost 70. And I had to get my BMI under 60 before they would even operate on me. So I I attended my weight loss surgery seminar in June of 2010. And it was October 19th when I had my gastric bypass surgery. So when I first started the weight loss program, I was at 420 pounds. When I attended my seminar, they weighed me at 395. And by my surgery, I was 335. So I had lost 85 pounds. And then by Christmas, I had like lost 100 pounds and was at Tudorville, under 200. Like, when I saw 299 on the scale for the first time, I almost did jumping jacks. Seriously. It's like, whoa, let's go. Okay, so it was literally, like, so quick that things started to change for me. Like, I started having marriage problems. The way that I perceived people started to change. Like, I suddenly started to look at people in my life and analyze them, not to judge them, but to understand whether or not they were healthy for me and whether or not I wanted to continue having them in my life. And I think that as you start your weight loss journey and you start working on yourself, that becomes a huge thing, is that you have to start deciding who the positive people in your life are and including them more, and who the negative people are and kind of weeding them out, as horrible as that is to say. But by Christmas, I was having marriage problems. In January, my dad had a stroke. I spent 3 months in California, discovered that my mom was a hoarder, I helped clean up their house so that my dad had a place, a decent place to spend the rest of his time in. Came back, tried to get refocused on me and my weight loss in March. In June, my dad passed away. I was still dealing with marriage problems the whole time. I mean, it really, really, really is one of the most, like, you are so vulnerable. Everything is so raw. And for me, I really felt like as the weight started to come off, I started to, like, discover more and more why I had put the weight on to begin with. Like, I started to really see the things that I was hiding from. And as I started to have to face the things that I was hiding from for the first time, it was unreal to me. And I honestly don't know why we don't encourage people to have somebody to talk to and have therapists there and stuff during that time. Because if you're like me and you're not extremely skilled at being a very, very social person, because honestly, like, at that point, I mean, still, I don't have a lot of friends. Like, my friends are mainly on the internet and via email and social networking stuff. And so, like, I didn't have a huge support system, and my life around me was suddenly falling apart. Like, I was discovering all these things about myself and dealing with family drama and marriage issues, and just, it was like emotional overload. And I had to start finding new coping skills, because food wasn't going to be it for me anymore. Like, there were no more days of going to the freezer and taking out a gallon of ice cream and eating it until I felt better. There were no more stuffing my face, there was no more stuffing my face with candy bars until whatever I was feeling inside dulled down and went away a little bit. There is no more late night Taco Bell runs where I could eat 10 tacos to, get over whatever I was feeling at the time. So instead, I had to find new ways. I had to find new things to do. And for me, exercise was it. Like, I just fell in love with exercise. But I did a lot of talking to, like, my friends. I did a lot of, like, my really, really close friends, and just a lot of soul searching. And I think that that's something that we underestimate a lot, is that as soon as we have the surgery, we are so focused on the weight. Like, at that point in my life, I thought that all of the reasons that I was unhappy were related to my weight. Like, I thought that everything that I was unhappy about was going to resolve itself when I was skinny or thin or normal or whatever the case may be. And being any of those things doesn't resolve my mommy issues. It doesn't change the things that happened to me as a kid that made me bent. It doesn't change the things that traumatized me enough that I wanted to hide myself from the world in a big layer of overweight and obesity. Those things have not gone, those things don't go away for me. And I struggle with them like every day, like even now, I resent, like I find that when I look back on my childhood and the things that I went through, that I resent even more than I did before the people that hurt me, because now I realize that like me protecting myself from them hurting me has robbed me of like half my life of being a healthy, normal person and being able to do healthy, normal things. And I have a lot of resentment for it, a lot of resentment. I don't think that I would not consider myself depressed. I mean, like, I'm a lot happier today than I was 2 years ago. But there's still days that, like, I feel depressed. There's still days that I think about the things that have happened to me, and realize that I still have a lot of work to do. I mean, there's a lot of things that I still need to accomplish. And for me, it's like every step in my journey, every time I meet some milestone, every time I have a new wow moment, every time there's something like new to celebrate about my journey, to me, it's like a moment it's like a moment for me where I'm taking back my life from the people that pushed me into coping skills that were completely unhealthy for me. Um, mental health is so, it's really hard. I mean, I spent the better part of my 20s in therapy for chronic depression and dissociative identity disorder, all the result of traumatic childhood abuse, sexual, emotional, verbal, physical, and it's one of those things where a lot of, like, at some points you even realize that the things that have hurt you the most are completely out of your control, you know? And there's a part of you that is very, very sad that you're having to deal with all of these emotions because of things that people put you through. And there's a lot of resentment. And for me, again, like, exercise became a great outlet for that. I remember the first time that I was in the gym with a personal trainer and she got me to hit a punching bag. And, like, oh my God, it was just, like, insane. I looked at that punching bag and seriously, I imagined on it the face of every boy that turned me down, of, like, every man that had abused me, of everyone that had said something negative to me or hurt my feelings with, like, fat jokes. I mean, like, I just swung and kicked at that bag until I felt like I had worked it all out, and it was amazing.
Desperately Seeking Slender is sponsored by Northwest Fitness, where you can find a huge selection of top-quality fitness equipment, an experienced, knowledgeable sales staff, and a no-pressure try-before-you-buy atmosphere. Visit their website at nwfitnessportland.com today for new and used equipment options. Northwest Fitness is Portland's premier exercise equipment store, and they're ready to help you in your weight loss journey.
So I think something important to remember is that as you're moving through a weight loss journey, whether you're in the beginning stages of it or whether you're at the tail end of it, is that it is an extremely emotional journey. And you really are going to have to find new coping skills and new outlets and new things to do, because all the things that you've done before are not going to work for you anymore. And honestly, I think that it's very important for people to know that it's okay to need help, and it's okay to reach out, and it's okay to feel alone, and it's okay to feel like you can't do it by yourself. And when those feelings kick in, nobody's going to think any less of you or think that you failed or judge you for the help that you may need. Depression affects more than 350 million people of all ages. And it's no surprise that people who are on an emotional journey like weight loss are going to get lumped into that. And it's also no surprise that people who are on a weight loss journey already probably have some mental health issues that they're going to need to address as they start to tear down the walls and expose those. And really, you know, people don't get help. A lot of people don't get the help that they need for mental health issues. So don't be afraid to see somebody. Don't be afraid to talk to somebody. Don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid to share. Don't be afraid to blog. Don't be afraid to be yourself. The journey to weight loss is one of the most emotional journeys that you're ever going to take. And seriously, it's good to have some friends there. Find a support group online, get involved. I know for me, like, I'm just so excited as I get more and more involved in the weight loss community and I meet more and more people and I get to know more and more women that have done this and that have gone on to have really, really healthy and successful lives after weight loss surgery. I am just, like, extremely touched by it, and I'm just really excited by it. And I know that having those positive influences for me and those people to look up to make my journey easier. So don't be afraid to, don't be afraid to get involved. Get in touch with people. Reach out your hand. A lot of people will reach back for you. I'm Pandora. You're watching Desperately Seeking Slender. And if you are desperately seeking slender, I want to hear from you. So contact me. You can get me on Facebook, Twitter. I'm all over the place, right? Facebook, Twitter, and my website, desperatelyseekingslender.com. Check out my blog, comment on the comments, and all of that stuff. And I've got a little bit more for you, so stay tuned. Hey everybody, this is Pandora with Desperately Seeking Slender, and we are doing a date with my iPhone. So I'm standing outside the DMV, and I brought Heather here this morning to get her ID, used my iPhone to launch Daily Burn and track my protein bar, my coffee this morning, and that's all I've eaten today. So, but hey, I know that I have eaten like 22 grams of protein today and that I have a long ways to go. So, definitely something that I do on my mobile phone all the time. Daily Burn for counting my calories, my protein intake. I use it to track calories in, calories out. Oh my God, I'm addicted to Daily Burn. I'm on it every day. It's got the nutritional scanner, so you can scan the back of your protein bar, and it takes all the nutritional information, puts it in for you, and tells you and calculates everything for the day. So, number one tip for a day with my iPhone. That's what I did first thing out today. All right, see you guys later. Bye. Hey everybody, it's Pandora, and I'm here with What's Making Me Move. So I'm going to tell you what has got me going in the gym and what's on my playlist. Pink's new album is out, The Truth About Love, #1 on the charts. You go, girl. This chick is amazing. Like, if you've ever seen her perform, what she can do and sing at the same time, like, oh my God. Like, that girl can do backflips in the air and not even, like, lose her tune. I'm just, it doesn't miss a note. It's amazing. I have such a love for this woman that it's unbelievable. Like, she has been a huge part of my weight loss journey. She has been on my MP3 player like crazy for ever since I started this journey. 2 songs on her album that I totally invite you to check out and see if they don't make you move too. Try and Give Me a Reason. Both awesome. Try them out. Check them out. Let me know what you think. If they make you move or you've got a song that makes you move, let me know and we'll talk about it. Also, I want to suggest for your playlist, Katy Perry, Fireworks. It's my power song. If you know anything about me and what I've gone through with my dad and stuff, you'll totally know why. It's very, very special to me. So, but it's definitely a motivating song and encourages you to remember that, you're worth it, and you are. So, as far as what I'm doing in the gym, I'm on the elliptical like crazy. I'm still kind of obsessed with it. My blisters are keeping me on it. They're not getting any worse. They are getting better. So hopefully I'll be able to run outside again very soon. Like, I'm definitely planning on running in Dallas because, like, I want to run everywhere I go just so I can say I can. So yes, these are the things keeping me moving in the gym right now and keeping me motivated. I'd love to know what yours are. And while we're talking about motivation, we are doing the first Desperately Seeking Slender giveaway. Be sure to check out the website. I'm giving away an iPod Touch 4 that's been loved on for a couple of years. I'm re-gifting it. But hey, musical motivation is a huge inspiration for me in my weight loss journey, and I want to be a part of it being a huge inspiration for you. So hit the website at www.desperatelyseekingslender.com and find out how to win my old iPod 4 Touch. Hi everybody, this is Pandora. Welcome to the Confessional. So, the great thing about iPhones, I'm sure Androids have it too, the little flip feature, it lets you do stuff like this, anywhere, anytime, even when you're in the gym like me. So, if you have one of those moments where you have an epiphany, you learn something about yourself, you have one of those like, wow moments, spectacular moments you want to share, that you're amazing, and that are amazing and that you're proud of, it's a great way to do that. But on top of that, it's a good way to kind of record those moments when you learn something about yourself that maybe you want to work on, focus on a little bit. So for me, I'm getting ready to head out to Dallas and go to the OAC convention next month, and I have finally figured out that I have this aversion to getting on a bike. And I was kind of trying to figure out what the aversion was, why I was having a hard time wanting to do it. And it occurred to me that I had the same problem when I first got home last year after my father had passed away with running. It was really hard for me to run because I associated it with my dad so much. And I felt so connected to him when I'm running, or I do still, but I did then. And it put me off. It was I didn't want to go there because it was hard and it hurt and it was hard for me to face. And it took a few weeks for me to want to exercise and run again. And I think that getting on a bike is a bit of the same thing for me. My dad taught me how to ride a bike. It's one of the few childhood memories that I have that are special and that I really hold dear. And I just think that I'm scared to get on it because I'm scared that if something goes wrong, if I can't ride it, or who knows, I can't pedal uphill, I don't know, whatever it is, I just don't want that memory of me not being able to do something associated with something that is amazing memory about my dad. So I think I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that I read on the OAC convention paperwork that there was a place nearby to rent bikes. So I'm making a commitment to myself that in the great state of Texas, God bless Texas, I will go rent a bike and try to ride it with my dad in Texas. So I'm nervous and I'm scared, and I probably won't post this confessional until I get back and can tell you all that I did it. Or, I don't know, maybe I will, because the fact that I told you all I was going to do it, having to come back and tell you I didn't would be something that I wouldn't want to do. Okay, so anyways, welcome to the Confessional. I'm Pandora. This is Desperately Seeking Slender. And if you're desperately seeking Slender, I want to hear from you. Confess to me. Tell me what's on your mind. We'll talk about it. Chris Powell quotes. I love Chris Powell. I love him. I think that he is one of the most real people in weight loss and in fitness on TV. I think that he actually cares about the people that he helps, and you can see that. And I find it amazing. Chris Powell posts quotes on his Facebook and Twitter account all the time. And so I keep them, and we'll share 2 of them with you each week and ask you to comment on what the quote means to you. So the 2 Chris Powell quotes for this week are, in order to change, we must be sick and tired of being sick and tired. How does that quote apply to you and your weight loss journey? Let me know in the comment section. And as for the other quote, oh yes, the past can hurt, but the way I see it, you can either run from it or you can learn from it. Which are you doing? Okay, This is the quote that I picked, and my response was, I love this quote, and it's so appropriate to why so many people are overweight. So many of us deal with our past and our emotional baggage by having intimate relationships with food. Once you break that pattern and you have to start dealing with the emotions again, you really have to learn a lot about yourself. And you have to focus on dealing with those emotions differently a second time around. It's an amazing quote to reflect on post-weight loss surgery. I'm a little LOL about the fact that it's from The Lion King, though. Hey, this is Pandora. You're watching Desperately Seeking Slender and a day with my iPhone. So my alarm just went off. We're in an elevator and it's time to take my vitamins. So vitamin reminders, another cool thing you can do with your iPhone post-bariatric surgery. See you later. Now it's time for some fitness facts. Did you know that for every pound of muscle that you have, your body burns 75 to 100 calories a day? But for every pound of fat you have, your body stores 3,500 calories. You don't build that muscle while you're exercising. You build it on your rest days when your body is strengthening the muscle that you do have. And that muscle is really important to you. Just think about it. 2 pounds of muscles is going to burn about 200 calories a day for you just by existing. Another important thing to remember is that our bodies are creatures of habit. So the more you exercise, the more your body learns to burn fat rather than storing it. That's really important. Also keep in mind that if you're dehydrated, it reduces your exercise performance. So make sure that you hydrate for peak performances during a workout and make sure that you're getting all of your water in.
Desperately Seeking Slender is a proud member of the Obesity Action Coalition. Please visit their website at www.obesityaction.org for information on how to join the OAC in the fight against obesity.
Okay, everybody, that's it for this week's episode of Desperately Seeking Slender. I'm Pandora, and I'm still desperately seeking Slender, and if you are too, I want to hear from you. So write me. You can email me at pandora@desperatelyseekingslender.com. Get me on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Desperately Seeking Slender. You can find me at desperatelyseekingslender.com. Comment on my blog. Be sure to join our iPod giveaway. And you can get me on Twitter at Seeking Slender. All right, everybody. I'll see you next week. In the meantime, stay motivated.